Welcome to twoquestions.tv. With me today is Tam Warner Minton, and we're talking about fortitude and getting out of your comfort zone. Welcome to twoquestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me today is Tam Warner Minton. She's a travel writer, author, and solo traveler behind the adventure travel blog Travels with Tam. She's an avid scuba diver who travels the world to make a difference, and she has this new book out called All Fish Bases, which encourages kids to preserve our oceans for future generations. Hi, Tam. Welcome to the show.
Hi. It's nice to be here.
Well, I was so intrigued by your story, and the real reason I wanted to have you on this show is to talk about your strength and fortitude and your sheer will. You live with chronic pain, and yet you travel everywhere, you scuba dive. Can you talk a little bit about what it takes for you to continue to not just travel, but scuba with pain?
Well, scuba actually helps pain. So, you're in this water environment where you're completely supported. And so it just makes a tremendous difference. The problem is getting there. Once you're in the water, life is great, but it's getting there that is a problem, especially, the travel that takes like 2 days. If you're going someplace like Indonesia or Australia, those kind of places it can really, really wear on your spine.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And my chronic pain is arthritis. And it is also back pain. I've had 2 very major surgeries.
Wow. Okay. So when it comes to that long travel, and you travel the world, you don't mess around. You're everywhere, right?
Yeah. I hope to be. Yes. I've been to 7 continents. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So. What is it that is it the goal? Is it knowing that where you're going and what you get to do when you get there that keeps you going and keeps you taking these long trips? How do you manage it?
Well, if you're asking how I physically manage it, I have, a list of things that I do to make sure I can get there. And getting there is always problematic because I have to take scuba gear, which is very heavy, very heavy. And I have to take camera gear, which is even heavier.
Yes. Heavier than the scuba gear.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it takes its own suitcase to take, all of the gear that I need for my underwater photography. So and I won't check that. You can't really check camera gear, especially when you're carrying like different lenses and that sort of thing. So
too fragile. Yeah.
They're way too fragile. So I take them on board with me. And I mean, it takes everything I have to lift it up into the overhead compartment. So I always take help if it's offered. I don't ask people for help, but if somebody says, "Oh, can I help you with that?" Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Sure.
You can help me with this. So, and then trailing around the airport with backpack and my camera gear. And then when you get there, you've got the big bag. It's just, what I do is I try to get there a day or 2 in advance because I know I'm going to be down for a while. So, I bring my muscle relaxers and my big Aleve pills, extra strength and all that sort of thing. But usually, I have to lay down.
Yeah. So knowing that you're going through all of that, does it take, it's a lot of mental preparation as well?
I would say that it used to be. The first time I did it, I traveled to Africa. And so I was on a plane by myself with all this luggage from Dallas to London and then London to Johannesburg and then Johannesburg to Mozambique. And it was a real issue. I didn't realize how much weight I would have to carry. So I've learned since then, but as much as I try, I can't get the luggage down. I just,
I hear you.
I go through it. I'm like, I have to have this and I have to have that. And what can I do? I have to
Well,
take.
it's different when it's some of it's for your very survival. I mean, you know, you need you know, but okay. So I'm a huge advocate of travel. I love global travel, and I understand you're a solo adventurer. And I think that in and of itself requires really getting outside of your comfort zone. So let's say that someone's watching today and maybe they're stuck in their comfort zone box and they're a little afraid to strike out and try something new. What kind of advice do you have for someone like that?
My advice is to book it. Because once it's booked, your mindset changes. Your mindset becomes, well, I'm in it now, so there's nowhere to go but forward.
Non-refundable. Do it.
Non-refundable. And don't take out insurance now. Actually, you should take out insurance.
I think so.
But
yes.
Traveling solo, I find, really amplifies all of the benefits of travel because you are completely your authentic self. You are making your own decisions. You have to fix your own problems. You do what you want when you want. There's no one to please except yourself. And I found it to be just so empowering that I could do that. It was just so exciting for me. And I've done it a lot since, you know, all over the planet. I think that your comfort zone it's lovely and everything, but
it's comfortable.
It's comfortable, but it is also stagnating. And, you know, you don't have to go to Indonesia. You don't have to go scuba diving. You know, you can go take a drive to a national park or something like that. It doesn't have to be someplace really, really far away. But I have just found it to be addictive.
It really is.
It is. It really is. You know, and just the confidence it gives you to know that, hey, I can handle whatever comes my way without an issue. I can do it.
I will say I love traveling with my husband,
Sure.
but in my single years before I met him, when I traveled solo, I found I was more apt to reach out and talk to people and make friends because I was by myself. And I think when you're with someone else, you have sort of that safety net of that other person. And if there's something, a moment that you want to share, you're more apt to share it with the person you're with than when you're alone. You want to share it, so you're going to have to find somebody right around you.
And I think people misunderstand that maybe some people think that solo travel means that you're lonely.
Right.
But you're not lonely because you're not alone unless you want to be. There are people there. I do a lot of citizen science trips. And when I get there, there are plenty of people to talk to once I'm there. And if I don't want to, if I feel like resting or just being quiet for a while, I don't have to talk to them. So yeah, I mean, it's not that you're lonely. And actually you're meeting different people from different cultures and learning about different ways of living and different ways of life. I mean, I find it just completely fascinating. And that's what I mean by don't stagnate. If you're not learning, if you're not moving forward, I don't know. I just have to keep going. My curiosity is just so immense. I want to see everything, do everything, meet everyone. So I just couldn't sit still, you know, and just do nothing.
Exactly. So.
And
it sounds to me like there's a lot of purpose behind this as well. And I think that's critically important as well.
Yeah. I mean, what I do, the citizen science trips or the volunteer tourism, you know, these are vacations where you're giving back. Okay. They're not vacations that you're spending at a resort that is all inclusive, you know, where you sit on a beach, you go to Jamaica, you sit on a beach and you never leave the hotel grounds. That's a vacation, but that isn't travel. you know, because you're not eating in local restaurants, meeting
Yeah.
local people, seeing how they live, tasting their food. Travel is a whole different animal than just going on a vacation.
That's true. That's totally true. 100%. I feel like you and I could talk about travel all day long.
All day.
All week long.
Yeah. And, you know, before my kids flew the nest, my husband and I took them all over the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a huge, rich experience for kids too.
It is. It is.
So tell me a little bit about the book.
Well, my solo travel and citizen science travel generally has a theme, and that theme is the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I am a passionate scuba diver. I am passionate about the animals in the ocean and the warming of the ocean, the plastic trash that's in the ocean. And I know that after 30 years of diving, I have seen what climate change has done to our oceans. I've seen the skeletons, I've seen the dead corals, and it's heartbreaking because fish can't live if they don't have a reef.
Right.
So when the coral dies, the fish die. When you take the predators out, then you probably have an overabundance of animals and they die off because they don't have enough food. So the food chain is really, really delicate. And what I wanted to do was as you can probably tell, I'm pretty excited and passionate just talking about it. I love to teach people how to snorkel and how to scuba dive. And I just love to see their wonder and their excitement when they see these gorgeous, colorful fish. And I thought, not everyone can do this. Not everyone can come to the ocean and see. It's like a different planet, but it's so important to us. Every second breath we take is from the ocean. 70% of our GDP comes from the ocean, not from land. So it's a very important ecosystem. So my thought process was, why don't we introduce the ocean to people? I'll take the ocean to them. They can see these animals and see their faces. These fish have personality. They are so funny sometimes. They're real creatures, you know, they're not just a picture in a book or a drawing in a book. I also give fun facts about each species, and I show, for instance, I'll show a species like an angelfish, but I'll show what it looks like in all the different oceans.
Oh.
They don't look the same at ocean to ocean. You know?
I did not know that.
Yes, and so their colorations are just fascinating. You know, some fish are mated for life. Some fish can change sex. I mean, you know,
what?
It's a fascinating world. It's a fascinating world. So what I want to do is kind of humanize the fish.
Yeah.
The way of thinking is if you love something, don't you want to keep it nice? Don't you want to keep, if you love it, you know, if you love your dog, you're going to feed it, you're going to brush it, you're going to wash it.
Yes.
And if you love these fish, maybe you'll think twice before you take a plastic straw and throw it in the trash.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do give tips on easy ways, just very simple ways that all of us can help to remove the dangers that are in the ocean. And 10% of the profits of the book are going to go to the Marine Megafauna Foundation, which was founded by Andrea Marshall, and I do a lot of traveling with her on her Ray of Hope expeditions, and they are fantastic. So you're out there, you're doing science in the field with the scientists, and it's giving back. It's exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. What a wonderful and interesting life you must have. And perhaps I will have to come wherever you are and let you teach me how to scuba, because I've never even tried it.
My home base is Cozumel, so you can come down there and I'll get you underwater.
Wonderful. That's what we'll do. My husband he lived in the Canary Islands and has been trying to get me into the water for snorkeling at the minimum for
Oh,
ages.
yeah.
And I don't know. Well,
Why?
we'll come down there and see you. All right.
Okay. It's fascinating. It's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
Absolutely. Tam, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been fascinating.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, viewers, we're going to link to Tam's book and to her blog in the show notes for today. Make sure that you check that out. I mean, this book sounds fantastic. You probably want to get it for your kids. And also, think about getting outside your comfort zone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.